Hey there, I'm Jackie from Adam Hart Cross Stitch, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Flosstube episode number 13, and this is really just a time for me to kind of sit and chat with you all, talk all things cross stitch, crafting, DIY, and small business. We are in the lovely month of June. It has been a whopping 3 months since I posted a Flosstube episode. Like I just mentioned, this is episode number 13, which is perfect timing because this week is June 13th, which also happens to be my birthday. I'm gonna be 39, so I am officially entering the very last year of my 30s. This decade has really flown by, but I gotta say, life just keeps getting better and better. I've really, truly loved my 30s, and I am legitimately looking forward to being in my 40s. So if you're also a June baby like I am, happy birthday. And let's go ahead and get into some Flosstube updates. The first thing I want to start with is some haul. It's not too much, but I do think in my last Flosstube episode, I posted about some vintage needlepoint canvases I had picked up on eBay. After filming that Flosstube episode, I did jump right back onto eBay and continued to purchase needlepoint canvases and a tapestry canvas. So I'm going to show you what I got, starting with our tapestry kit. So this is a pretty large canvas. It's, let's see, 12 by 15 inches, and it's got the 70s vibe, which I absolutely love. And because it's a kit, it also has all of the yarn included, which is great. As you can see, I have not opened this yet. I haven't started on it. I have been trying to finish one of my current projects before starting anything new. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that because, again, I realized I've made all these purchases and have not started anything, and I really want to start something. So we'll see what happens. Now, something I've experienced in the past when buying like vintage kits on eBay is sometimes the yarn can be very musty, dusty smelling once you kind of open it up and get in there. I have not opened this up yet, so I'm not totally sure what condition the yarn is in, but if the yarn's in good condition, I will go ahead and use what the kit came with because I do love the colorway of this whole thing. But if for some reason this yarn isn't working out, it does look like it's just standard worsted weight yarn, so I would then just pull from my yarn wall back here if I needed to. But I'll definitely stick with keeping this one in yarn, even if I don't use what was included in the kit. So that's eBay find number one. The next thing I picked up on eBay was a whole set of these also vintage needlepoint kits. These also include the canvas and all the yarn that's needed, just like the one before. I don't know what condition the yarn is in these because I haven't opened any of them up yet, but I love these and it was a steal. I'll have to go back and see if I can pop up on the screen here what I paid for these. But if you're unaware, a very big thing happening in the needlepoint world right now is there is a huge shortage of needlepoint canvas. So it's kind of difficult right now to make a lot of purchases for newer designs that you're wanting. A lot of businesses are out of stock and they're not able to quickly restock a lot of different needlepoint canvases. And as I'm sure most of us know, hand-painted needlepoint canvases can also start to get pretty expensive, as they should be. I mean, these are hand-painted pieces of art. Check out eBay, you guys. I mean, especially if you like more of the vintage look like I do, there are some great finds on eBay. So anyways, here's this whole little collection. It's all like fruit and vegetable themed. So I thought these would be very cute to complete and then like hang in the kitchen somewhere. But first up are blackberries. It's the canvas on the back. And then we've got, this one is my favorite, dill. One of the best herbs out there. And a lovely tomato. Tomato, some carrots. I also really love the carrots. Pumpkin. And I realize I'm missing one. Another favorite, broccoli. Again, I just think these are super duper cute. I am going to be doing some traveling coming up, and I will talk about that a little bit later in the episode, but I'm thinking I might bring some of these along with me to work on while I'm traveling. But this whole set of needle points that I just think are so cute. It was such a steal. Thank you, eBay. Would love if they sponsor me for a video at some point. And then the next little bit of haul is also some needlepoint. I don't know why I am on such a needlepoint buying kick. And I say buying kick because I keep buying needlepoint. I'm not necessarily working on a lot of needlepoint, but I found this wonderful, wonderful lady over on TikTok, and I fell in love with this entire needlepoint collection that she has. I assume many of you may fall in love with it too. I think it's one of the best needlepoint collections I've seen. Granted, maybe my taste is like ultra specific. I have to say, majority of needlepoints I don't like. A lot of the canvases don't do it for me. This I'm obsessed with. So these two canvases are from House of Toots. This first one is Thread Chicken. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? And then this other one is Frogget. I mean, how cute would these be completed and like hanging behind me in my little stitching area? I'm obsessed. These are only two of the whole like collection that she has, and they're all like tattoo flash inspired like stitching puns. They have been going out of stock really quickly. So if you are interested in any of these, I will of course link to her website below. It's called House of Toots. You can sign up for restock notifications. I can tell you right now, there's already more canvases I'm going to be buying from this collection at some point. She did also send some stickers, and I think these are also all part of the collection too, but there's this Stitch Club bird, the needlepoint heart. Obviously, I love that one. And then I think this is my other favorite one of the collection, and that is Thread Licker. So adorable stickers, incredibly cute canvases. I am so excited about these. So that's it for haul. I think I've been pretty good for having not posted an episode here for 3 months. Like, that is all I have purchased. I have not been on a crazy spending spree, at least when it comes to new projects to start. So yay me. But let's go ahead and get into WIPs and the things I've been working on the past few months. Since all of the haul was needlepoint, let's just go ahead and jump into the needlepoint project I've been working on. And this is definitely what I have been spending most of my time working on. So I will pop her out of the scroll frame. And this project was also an eBay find. This is a vintage canvas. It was actually partially completed when I purchased it, but it was a very small portion and the stitching was not great. Like it just wasn't what it needed to be. So I did end up frogging everything that was there and started over completely from scratch. There is very little information about this canvas. I believe the original artwork is from Jacqueline Duhem. It's a French name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. I do tend to get questions of like where I got this, where people can purchase it, when people see it. It was on eBay. So unfortunately, you can't just go and find someone who's like selling this out of their shop right now and go get it. But again, that's why I say check out eBay, because eBay's got cool stuff like this. So this is where we're at with this. So essentially, when I started working on this whole half was not completed other than the cat. So I've worked on all these leaves and I have made some very good progress, but I think I have had this out for probably 2 or 3 months now, and I would have expected to be finished by now. I just have not been stitching that much. I'm sorry, I know. I think initially my goal is, because I have purchased quite a few needlepoint canvases the past few months, I really want to get this one done before starting anything else. But like I said, I am going to be traveling next week, so I think I might bring a few of these smaller needlepoints that I showed you in my haul with me while I'm traveling, because those are just really nice and easy to work on. But yeah, that is my progress so far. I do really want to finish her this year. Very funky, very unique. And I just refer to her as Girl in Garden. All right, next up for WIPs, and we will finally get into some cross stitch here. First up, I have Floral Dream by Nora Corbett. Now, I was going through some of my more recent Flosstube episodes. I know that I worked on Floral Dream this year. That's, I think, what I was working on in the beginning of the year. But I couldn't find a recent video where I had given an update on her, so I figured I would just show her in this one just for good measure. But here she is, and I really don't have too much left on this. I need to complete this side. There's like a very similar motif that goes down this side here. I have a little bit of the blanket to finish, and then it's just the back stitching and beading. So this is actually pretty close. Another one that maybe I could see myself finishing this year. It would be really nice to get some finishes done because I just really haven't had that many. So would love to get her done. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana. This is called Earthen Lugana, and it's by Picture Me Plus. And I am stitching 2/2. I am using all of the called for DMC and Karen Water Lilies floss, and also all of the called for beads. And it's all Mill Hill beads that are called for in the pattern. And this fabric was not like the called for fabric that's used in the like model stitch that's used on this chart. And I actually had a really hard time figuring out what fabric I wanted to use. I just didn't love the like natural linen that was called for. So it took me a very, very long time to find a fabric for this one. And I am so happy with using this Earthen Lugana. It's always hard to know how things are gonna show in the video camera with the lighting and all that, but it's just a very beautiful dusty rose type mauve color. There's some like natural modeling throughout, and it's very beautiful fabric. So very happy with the fabric choice. Everything else though is called for. I do of course have all my floss on my specialty thread hearts, and these thread hearts, this color is called Purple Haze. I did stop selling Purple Haze on my website for quite a while, but I've had a lot of people reach out asking if I'm going to start carrying it again. So if you've been one of those people, it's coming back in June. Purple Haze will be making her return. So if you've been keeping an eye out for that, just know it's coming. Next up for the WIPs I've been working on. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you're going to recognize this because it has been featured in multiple Stitch With Me videos. And that is Fuchsias by Heaven and Earth Designs. Absolutely stunning. I am stitching this 1/1 on 28 count, easy count even weave. So this fabric comes pre-gridded and then it washes out at the end when you're done stitching with your project. I also always get a ton of questions about this little doodad that's holding all my parked threads. These are a type of bobbin, one of the easy brands to find out there. It's called Bob Ease, like EEZ. So I will link to those below. But if you do like to use the parking method and you're trying to figure out a way to keep all your threads kind of tucked away and out of the way, these really are fantastic. And I am, of course, using all of the called for DMC for this project. There's a lot of it. I started this project back before I ever had a business selling floss drops, so I have all of this floss kitted up on Annie's Keepers. I do also get a lot of questions about working with floss drops and like, doesn't it get all tangled and knotted? Well, you can see I just pulled this out of my project bag, and yeah, it's a little tangled when you first pull it out, but it doesn't take all that much to straighten everything back out. So it really does not bother me. I've been working on this for years and years and years. I have not even completed the top row of pages, but I am getting close. No idea when this will ever be finished. It will be years from now, but that's okay. Next up for WIPs, and this is the last piece of cross stitch that I've been working on. And this is another one you may recognize from Stitch With Me videos because I think I've worked on it maybe twice in my Stitch With Me videos. And that is this Rosena Disery reproduction sampler. It was reproduced by Works by ABC. And I am stitching this 2/2. I think this is 32 count even weave. And I actually dyed this fabric myself using tea. I think it gives a very nice kind of antique look to the fabric. I really can't remember the last time I gave an update on this project and how much I've really accomplished, but I'd say this is probably at least 50% done. Samplers aren't really something I gravitate towards stitching. They're not my favorite to work on, but I do love this one and there's some really great history behind it. So I do like working on that. And I am using all of the called for DMC. I love this color palette. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's just like a perfect neutral color palette. And I have all of these kitted up on my clear thread chips. All right, so last thing to talk about in terms of WIPs, and this is not needlepoint, this is not cross stitch, but this is the newest quilt that I am working on. I've got just kind of a pile of cut fabric to show you, but my most recent video before this one is actually kind of a project overview of this whole thing. If you're interested to see that, I must say that video has been my worst performing video, I think, so far. So I'm not sure my audience loves the quilting content. So I apologize if this is not your jam, but on my previous Flosstube episode number 12, I did show you all the fabric that I purchased. It was very much a spur of the moment fabric purchase, but I absolutely fell in love with this fabric collection. It's called Songbird. It's by Tilda Fabrics. I had a really hard time finding a fat quarter friendly quilt pattern that really spoke to me. I really love scrappy looking quilts. Like, they are just hands down, I think, what I go for all the time. So what I ended up doing is using this Tilda wallflower quilt pattern as a jumping off point. I kind of modified the whole thing to just do these flower blocks here. And again, I talk about this in depth in the video right before this one, but the whole quilt will just be a collection of these flower blocks, and it's going to be like really nice and scrappy looking. It has been pretty slow going for me sewing wise. I've just really been working on this in short bursts here and there, but I am loving how it looks so far, and I am really excited to get this top pieced together. Probably will be at least another month or two before I get to that point, but that is my kind of update on my, what I'm calling fat quarter flower quilt. So next up are fully finished objects. Shockingly, I have some to share. That is very rare in my Flosstube episodes. But the first one I don't have with me to show you, because not only is it fully finished, it has also been gifted and is hanging in its new home with its owner. But this was a project I had posted about previously. It is called Lost Cause. It's actually a chart made from artwork by my friend. So for this one, I created the cross stitch chart and I dyed the fabric myself. And I also did my first like framing for a cross stitch project ever when I finished this one. So I do of course have a whole step-by-step video that I filmed when I framed it. Now, I have nothing against a hoop finish. I love a hoop finish, but I think without a doubt, actually having a finished piece framed is kind of like a step up. It looks really beautiful. It was so much easier than I thought it would be. So I'll definitely link to the video that I made walking you through the step-by-step when it comes to framing, but it is definitely something I recommend if you've been thinking about it. It was at least way easier than I thought it was going to be. Now, the last group of things I'm going to share with you all for fully finished objects is a little bit different. I don't know what it is about this year, but so far for me, 2026 has been kind of this year of learning is the only way I can best describe it. I have just been really jumping in to wanting to try and learn a whole lot more, have new experiences, try new things. I've been teaching myself piano this year. And one of the things I did was actually take a ceramics class at a studio here local to me in Thousand Oaks. It's called Joy Lab Ceramics. The owner there, her name is Lena. She is absolutely incredible. I took her introduction to hand building. It was a 6-week class and I just cannot say enough good things about her, the studio, the class itself. It was like really so much fun. So I figured I may as well show you guys the things that I worked on. I've never done ceramics before, so if you don't don't like anything, you just keep it to yourself. Week 1, we did pinch pots and we made 2 of them. So here is my first one. You can see very nice and organic is what we call it when it's not perfectly smooth and there's cracks and all those fun things. It's just kind of a flat little dish. This is actually turned into my sponge holder at my kitchen sink because it fits my round sponge perfectly. And this one, we played around with adding stamps to the pots. And then we also glazed everything ourselves as well, which was a big learning curve. The second pinch pot that I made, and again, it's also very organic looking, is this one here. Now, the bummer about this one is, one, I was obsessed with the glaze and the way that this turned out, especially here on the sides, but it got a little bit runny when it was in the kiln. So you can see there's some drips, and then the drips did cause a bit of the actual ceramic to like pop off in the kiln. Again, all learning experiences, but I love this. We also spent one of the classes making tiles, and this was a really cool experience. And what she actually had us do was take a picture from a magazine and then actually push it onto the clay and then carve the like image of the magazine onto the clay itself. So I went with a tree, and you can see there's like just tons of texture, and then played around with the glaze a bunch to have kind of some semblance of sky, tree, leaves. This one unfortunately did get a little bit of a crack when it was fired, but I mean, for my first ever tile, I think it's fine. I'm still very proud of it. I love it. And the last thing we made was actually using forms. What it's called? I forget already. This was kind of a little while ago, but we made these very cool, like organic looking bowls. Again, this one I added a lot of texture to on the outside, and then the inside is like really nice and matte while the outside is glossy. So, I mean, if it wasn't obvious, I am very much a sucker for greens and browns. 3 out of 4 of these have those kind of colors in the glazes, but I really loved how I think really just the color of this one turned out, especially the inside. One of my classmates was very, very smart, and she actually started bringing a notebook with her to make notes of what she was doing with the glazes so that she could remember. I wish I had done that because I can't even begin to tell you what I put on this glaze-wise, or even why the inside turned out matte, because that was not a matte glaze. It was a glossy one, so I don't know what happened there, but I loved taking this ceramics class. At some point, I want to take her intermediate hand building class, but I don't think it's going to happen this year just because I have been so busy, which I think brings us into life updates. So life has been super duper busy. As I just mentioned earlier, I feel like so far 2026 for me has really been this year of learning and growing and kind of pushing myself. And with that, I have gone back to school. So I'm actually just taking some business and accounting classes at my local community college. I don't necessarily have any type of degree goal in mind, but I think I am now in year 5 of running my small business. And I gotta be honest, a lot of times I really feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of out there winging it, and I feel like I'm kind of seeing this potential that the shop has. I really want things to grow, and so I'm really kind of pushing myself outside of my comfort zone and just taking classes so that I can really truly learn more about the business management and accounting side of things. So that's been a huge life change for me. It has been a long time since I've taken any type of college course. And speaking of school, I have 2 kids with big graduation milestones this week. My oldest is graduating high school, which feels wild to say. And my second is graduating 5th grade elementary school. So I will officially, as of the end of this week, no longer have a child in elementary school, ever. it's very, very bittersweet. But I have to say, I've loved all stages of motherhood and kids so far. I think there's things to enjoy kind of every step of the way. But I am really enjoying this part of life with my kids getting a bit older, seeing their personalities develop, really being able to like foster these relationships with them beyond just like mother and nurturer, but really getting to know them and who they are, what their interests are is really incredible. I've just really have been enjoying this time with both of my kids and everything that they've got going on in their lives and getting to know them. I'm so proud of them. Typically not one to get very emotional, but that kind of made me feel emotional. But like I was saying, our kids get older and really come into their own and start becoming their own people. It is just a beautiful thing to see. And I really love getting to know who they are and their personalities, and seeing that kind of evolve and change and develop is a really wonderful thing. And I really am so proud of both of them. So we're going to end life updates there because I don't want to start crying on camera. So the last little bit of stuff to talk about are business updates. If you don't know, I have a small business. It's called Adam Heart Cross Stitch. Surprise, surprise. And mostly there I sell floss drops, but I have really been pushing myself this year to start expanding and carrying more variety of items in the shop. So some of the items I am starting with are fabric and more notions. One of the things I love most with cross stitch is not even starting a new project, but preparing for a new project. I love like kitting up a project and getting it all ready and prepped to go. So my kind of developing vision for the shop is I want it to be a place you can come to get all the supplies you need for your next project. Of course, I hope that includes floss drops, but also the fabric that you need, the scissors, the needles, the needle minders, all those notions and supplies that are gonna make your next project really fun to work on, nice and organized, and just kind of bring you some of that joy that comes with stitching. So that's really been my focus. So I have been very slowly starting to expand the inventory. And that's a big part of what I want to see really continue to grow and evolve. With that, I did make the difficult decision to have this be the final year that I do my mystery subscription boxes. So these have been going on for I think 3 years now. And essentially it's just a quarterly subscription box where each subscriber receives 2 small cross stitch or stitching notions, and then also 2 exclusive, like brand new floss drop colors. I've loved doing these mystery boxes, and I've actually been so blown away by the support that they've gotten over the years, but it is a lot of work doing quarterly subscription boxes. And at least for now, my business is just me, myself, and I. So with trying to expand the shop to do a lot more, it really is kind of taking away from that time that I want to be giving to doing these subscription boxes. So I did make a big kind of announcement over the past few months that this will be the final year that I will be doing mystery boxes. And with that, the last little bit of shop update is that I am going to be going on vacation in June. So I am going to be having a mini shop closure June 14th through the 23rd. Now, my Etsy shop will be completely closed. I will be on vacation mode, as Etsy calls it. On my website, however, you can still place an order if you would like to. It just will not ship out until after the 23rd. And if you need to get in touch with me for any reason, like any type of customer support questions, there's a very good chance my replies will be a bit delayed in getting back to anything. Over the next 2 weeks, I am going to try to have at least 1 video posted and uploaded to YouTube while I'm gone. But I think for at least one of those weeks, there is likely going to be a gap, and I will probably go at least 1 week without posting any type of long form video. So if you are a subscriber and you're in the habit of checking my page on Friday afternoons to see if there's been a new video posted, if you don't see one over the next 2 weeks, that is why. But I will get back to my regular posting schedule. And with that, that is really all I've got for you all today. I really appreciate you being here, hanging out with me, letting me share with you all things cross stitch, needlepoint, crafting, DIY, you name it. I really like being able to pop on here every once in a while and just give you all some updates as to what I've been working on and what's going on in my life. If you've got any burning cross stitch questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I do read all of my comments, and a lot of times I will use the most common questions that come in to plan content for the future. So if you've got cross stitch questions or there's a very specific tutorial you would like to see covered in a future video, please do let me know in the comments. If you enjoy my channel and would like to help support me so I can continue creating content in the future, please do all the good things, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, I'm Jackie from Atom Heart Cross Stitch, and until next time, happy stitching.